When nobody else stepped forward to assist, a wealthy tycoon opened his doors and gave them shelter. As royal safeguards vanished and palace gates slammed closed forever, a single figure emerged from obscurity to extend a vital rescue. He arranged the private aircraft that spirited them to safety. He supplied the protection team that held threats at distance. Above all, he handed over the grand residence where they could piece together their broken existence. Yet today, that very tycoon appears ready to cast them onto the pavement. This evening, we're exposing the veil on what may rank as Hollywood's most shocking money controversy in years. We're examining persistent though unverified accounts of Tyler Perry issuing a stern 30-day ultimatum. Settle $14 million or forfeit it all. The figure who once served as the guiding force behind their fresh chapter has morphed into the destroyer of their US aspirations. A countdown now runs toward an embarrassment so widespread and devastating it might permanently shatter their public identity. Before plunging into these startling private records and the sequence of events disturbing Montecito's peace, please tap like and join the channel. We're following this removal timeline hour by hour. You must stay tuned for the moment everything surfaces. To grasp the full scale of this downfall, we must peel off the polished magazine spreads and rehearsed conversations. We must examine the mindset of a pair convinced of their invincibility. Insiders label it the fantasy of dominance. Over the past 4 years, global eyes have observed Harry and Meghan conducting affairs from their $14.65 million Italian-inspired property in Montecito. To casual viewers, the place represented triumph, a clear sign they no longer required royal backing and could flourish as autonomous power players in California's fierce environment. However, select speculations and quiet exchanges within Tinseltown's money circles indicate the residence was never truly a sanctuary. It functioned as a delayed explosion. They promoted an image of complete liberation. Yet liberty in that exclusive enclave carries costs steep enough to unsettle even top-tier celebrities. Maintaining the ground's utilities and appearance demands hundreds of thousands annually, excluding armed guards, attorney costs, media advisors, and the constant effort to match neighbors such as Oprah and Ellen. For an extended period, the duo assumed their financial pipeline would flow indefinitely. They counted on Spotify agreements, Netflix partnerships, and hefty publishing payments. In their view, they constituted an unstoppable worldwide entity. Certain upcoming ventures would absorb escalating obligations. Reality moves quickly in entertainment. Reliable arrangements started disintegrating. Their audio series ended abruptly. Fresh material production dwindled. In hushed Century City boardrooms, murmurs grew. Incoming funds fell short of expenditures. Here the account darkens with conjecture. People close to elite star funding claim the purchase of that storied Riven Rock property went beyond ordinary financing. Lacking sufficient ready funds and facing banks' reluctance toward high-profile figures with unpredictable earnings, they required temporary support. They required a patron. Enter Tyler Perry. Publicly, everyone recalls how Perry welcomed them into his Beverly Hills residence upon their 2020 arrival. He acted as the compassionate guardian, spotting hardship and providing refuge. What headlines overlooked until recently is the supposed ongoing monetary link that persisted well beyond their departure from his home. Tonight's probe explores the notion that the Montecito acquisition relied heavily on more than institutional lending. It involved a substantial, below-standard personal advance from Perry directly. This leads to their critical error in judgment. They wagered everything on projected success. Approaching a figure famed for kindness yet sharp in commerce, they sought aid to claim the estate. Word from top legal networks describes conditions that felt warm yet binding. A temporary facility meant to allow asset sales and firm contract arrangements. The rumored figure reached $14 million, nearly the full property cost, with repayment ballooning due December 2024. Why accept such enormous liability with a rigid cutoff? Overconfidence. During 2020, 2021, they genuinely expected billionaire status by 2024, viewing $14 million as trivial. They executed documents, clasped the hand of their rescuer, then utterly failed to produce necessary revenue. Time passed, and relations cooled. Perry stands as more than a director. He's a billionaire who constructed wealth independently. He respects money's worth and, crucially, mutual regard. For years he maintained the supportive ally role, speaking positively in media and serving as godfather to their child. Commerce, however, remains commerce. By late 2023 into 2024, their prospects soared. Spotify vanished, erasing $20 million. Later efforts met tepid response. Industry walkouts paused work. Anticipated income dried up. Rather than seeking Perry promptly with honesty and a revised schedule, accounts describe deliberate distancing. Here lies the true sorrow, not merely funds but the quiet. As the 2024 deadline neared, his representative sent courteous notices. The date approaches, let's address settlement. Montecito offered either no reply or deflection. Tales circulate of ignored Atlanta area calls and instructions to block them. Overwhelmed by lacking the roughly $16 million as principal plus accrued charges. They chose denial, overlooking warning signs, dismissing a powerful lender as bothersome instead of pivotal. They overlooked that Perry rose by refusing mistreatment. He insists on honor, commit to repayment, then follow through, if unable, communicate openly. You never ignore the person who sheltered you. Strain peaked over 2024 holidays. While audiences saw festive images, legal pressure mounted. Deeply wounded by non-responsiveness and apparent ungratefulness, Perry concluded camaraderie had ended. Patience expired, overtures rejected repeatedly. Then arrived the turning point etched in Sussex law, January 15, 2025. Envision it, a misty Montecito dawn, ocean vapors drifting. A dark vehicle arrives at towering gates. Out steps a server bearing no autograph request or pitch, but official documents from a fierce US law group acting for Tyler Perry. The packet supposedly held an uncompromising 30-day notice liquidate when $16.2 million covering base interest, fees or face seizure proceedings. Absorbed, that's $16 million within a month. For a pair whose cash position draws constant skepticism, it's terminal. The wording eliminated warmth, no affectionate greetings, pure transaction. It restated signed obligations, noted failures, declared violation. Here the dominance fantasy collapsed. Picture the alarm within those walls. They'd persuaded themselves Perry would refrain. Friendship outweighed, publicity too damaging. They relied on compassion, turning it into leverage. They erred gravely. To Perry, the issue transcended dollars. It concerned respect, feeling exploited. Right after delivery, they launched frantic concealment. Details emerged chaotically behind curtains. Public disclosure risked annihilation. If revealed as ousted by their generous ally, every detractor's claim of fiscal incompetence would solidify. Silence became essential. Urgent maneuvering followed. Harry reportedly dialed contacts, avoiding Perry out of shame or counsel, seeking interim funding from Silicon Valley figures, British ties, even estranged industry names. Receptions turned icy. Word spread in elite money networks. Nobody wished to interfere with Perry's claim. The residents sat maxed on lions, advancing more seemed reckless. They appeared poisonous. Attempts to trade on titles, non-existent ventures, or revival promises failed. Sussex appeal had plummeted. Legal channels sought extensions, reorganizations, decade-long installments. Perry's side refused bluntly, terms stand, settle completely or depart. Such firmness reveals deep fracture. Perry feels revulsion not from funds lost, but profound discourse toward extraordinary aid. A philanthropist who aids countless causes won't tolerate being played. His insistence implies unseen conduct, perhaps arrogance that cross final boundaries. Now examine the machinery of ruin. California employs non-court foreclosure, rapid, unforgiving, with deed of trust security. Perry retains sale authority, statutory steps, default notice recorded, delay, sale announcement. Roughly 120 days post, filing allows public bidding at courthouse. Visualize the indignity, a ducal residence sold like distressed commercial space. The 30-day warning precedes formal default recording. Final chance before public exposure. Once filed, headlines explode instantly, wealth facade evaporates. Normally refinancing solves pressure, new bank loan clears private debt. Here impossible. Underwriting demands stable debt to income. Servicing $16 million at U7% jumbo rates means a $100,000 monthly principal interest alone, nearing $300,000 in total with extras. Banks scrutinize returns, verified earnings, not potential or image. Sussex figures appear disastrous, Spotify gone, lavish spending, unchecked paper, wise unqualified. Trapped inside self-built luxury prison. Panic reigns, staff reduction save pennies, upkeep postponed. Quiet sales of jewels, artwork attempted, mere fractions against the sum. The timer began January 15. We're well inside 30 days. Each dawn tightens the noose, unanswered outreach seals fate. Failure means seizure signs, relocation crews, global exposure of undependent. Perry's debt dependent, estranged from former allies. Hollywood pardons missteps but despises destitution, deception invites exile. We near historic spectacle, king's offspring removed by entertainment titan. Tragic drama unfolding live. To fathom Perry's shift, once chartering for Whitney Houston's aid review build-up. Not sudden, theories point, 18 months brewing. Pivotal wasn't payment lapse but humility absence. Atlanta accounts describe late-year Montecito visit, not as lender but advisor. Seeing Spotify loss and fading attention, he urged downsizing, sell discreetly, relocate modestly, $5 million range. Curb security, travel bleed, offered sale guidance preserving dignity. Met defiance, they saw reduction as surrender, insisting estate essential for image, backdrop, prestige, royal aura. Told debt holder is counsel unwelcome while requesting leniency, supreme affront. Sources mark that encounter as Perry's emotional withdrawal. No longer supporting transition, enabling fantasy. Thereafter, chill set in. Disgust stems from audacity, not amount $16 million trivial to him, betrayal immense. Launch assistance treated casually. Foreclosure mechanics terrify. Non-judicial demand expires without full wire, default filed publicly. Instant headlines, 90-day redemption follows. Unlikely salvation under scrutiny. Then trusty sale notice auction shortly after. Open plaza, cashier bids welcome. Spectacle media frenzy, bargain hunters eyeing royal prize. Refinancing block-cooled market, possible underwater appraisal, catastrophic ratios, massive overhead security 2-3 yearly at Spran lendable. Internal fire sale whispers art appraisers. Jewelry contacts, futile against scale. Broader collapse hits social standing. Power contacts ghosted, Clooney's absent, Obama's distant, WME booking stalled. Brands flee distressed label, shunning evident. Gala invites vanish, executive texts ignored. Perry's disapproval broadcast warning, avoid. Cover-up pivots to narrative control soft features on serene philanthropy. Yet absent major revenue news. Business quiet contradicts spin. Inside tense high turnover disputes. Harry dreads losing home, betrayal of protector role. Meghan scrambles, options dwindling. Lifestyle pivot needs funding, investors wary. Living under constant dread. Every arrival signals server or inspector. Eviction optics, brutal deputies escorting out, trucks departing. Defining image, ending message of compassion from unaffordable luxury. Contract nuance, possible guarantee terms, future earnings pledged, memoir rights. Shortfall after sale invites pursuit, garnishment freezes, total devastation. 30 days tests integrity. Obfuscation over openness, arrogance over modesty. Gambling Perry yields for optics. Public mood shifted, victim card expired. Foreclosure frames in principle them enabled. Desperation peaks. Rumored pitch selling eviction tale, resilience documentary spun as systemic injustice victimhood. Industry recoils, toxicity repels. Monetizing downfall signals brand exhaustion, dignity liquidation. Post-deadline, no UK bailout here. Default scars credit 7 years, blocks leases, jets, loans, cash-only existence accelerates decline. Tax risk forgiven balance counts income, potential huge IRS bill despite loss. Household fractures. Bunker, like thin staff, Harry shock at trading security for unpayable mortgage, Meghan's image crumbling. Savvy facade shattered by Ali's eviction. Perry's motive? Tough love from poverty roots, forcing reality. Ending unsustainable enablement. Darker view buyer pre-arranged notice formality for clean transfer. Tech titan, executive or ironic antagonist. Montecito hums, locals observe, media waits, authorities prepare. Fantasy crumbles. They thought Hollywood conquerable sans rules. Friendship convertible to finance sans cost, status unassailable. Mistaken. Deadline looms. Payment absent, silence deafening. Absent miracle or bridge, payer despite scorched ties, fate fixed. Soon moving vans signal errors close, not arrival departure. Gates swing they exit, not crowned but lessons. Credit wrecked, name tarnished, opportunity wasted. American dream grants entry revokes too. Perry offered realm keys now reclaims. Viewer, public jury if you stood in Perry's position. Disrespected, millions unpaid. What then? Enforce terms. Safeguard values, or extend risking further loss? Comment now. FORECLOSE, all caps for seizure sale. Farjui for Mercic extension. Flood it, your stance matters. Story evolves hourly. Santa Barbara sources monitor records. Default filing triggers live coverage. Documents first, next moves revealed. Subscribe, enable alerts. Be present when verdict lands. Eviction timer runs, time nearly expired.